I can change my lights to Christmas lights. It says Christmas. Christmas lights, apparently. Have you ever wanted to buy a loop artist a present for Christmas? And then you've thought, what'd you get them? Well, together with David Shanhun and Carl Wockner, we're gonna come up with the loop artist Christmas list. So I've got my Snoopy Christmas t-shirt on, which can only mean one thing. It's the holiday season. And as we all know, loop artists are incredibly difficult to buy for. So I reached out to two other YouTubers who happen to be loop artists as well, Mr. David Shanhun and Mr. Carl Wockner. And together we've compiled a list of items, some are virtual and some are physical, that are fantastic gift ideas for the budding loop artist. Now, if you're an inspiring loop artist yourself, or maybe you're the relative or a friend of a loop artist and you're thinking, I don't know what to get him, I'm not sure, then stay watching because we've got some great things ahead. And stick around to the end because I've got something free for you. Now, what we've done is we've compiled these lists into a low budget, a medium budget, and a high budget. And all the items are going to be in the description box below, and there's also timestamps for each one. Now, if you don't know who David and Carl are, if you haven't seen them, where have you been? But go and check out their channels. I'll put the link for their channels in the description box as well. So we're going to put it in the order of David, myself, and then Carl. David is over in New Zealand, I'm here in the UK, and Carl is in America. So without any further ado, we're going to start with the low budget options. David, what have you got?
Merry Christmas, everybody. Oh wait. Wrong hat. Merry Christmas, everybody. How you doing? So, gifts for a live looping artist. We can be incredibly tough to buy for, huh? In a low budget range, I've got two options. One is purely something that sparks joy, and I don't think you can go past a melodica. Honestly, I recommend some random instrument, something like the melodica, because it's just fun. It can be something that you add to your loops, but it's also something that you can enjoy with friends and have a laugh with. And it's where we should be at, right? Enjoying what we're doing with music. The number one thing that I would recommend is this beautiful book by Guthrie Govan, Creative Guitar 1. I'm probably going to recommend this book every year, anytime if you ask me for a guitar bible, a guitar guide. Guthrie's one of my favourite guitarists, amazing player, and his insight and thought behind guitar playing, unlocking some creative new ideas, along with technique, theory and skills are amazing. I highly recommend it. Be warned, if you do gift this book to a guitarist in your life, they will need to do some work. There's a lot in there, and it really is, you could take days, weeks, months just applying certain principles. So I recommend picking something from the book and working on it. Don't try and get through the whole thing at once.
So for the low budget option, we're looking at acoustic guitaring. And we're not looking at the acoustic guitars themselves, we're looking at the strings. I've gone through loads of different strings in my life and I've broken far too many I'd like to count. But the ones that I go to now and the ones that have stuck with me and the ones that I think are great are these. This is the D'Addario XS series. These are a coated string. They have a really long life shelf and they have a really nice smooth feel. Now I actually play with a slightly heavy gauge because I use a plectrum. So these are a 12 to 53. Touch a very big piece of wood here. I've not broken one yet. Now when I'm gigging live, I play pretty hard and I play for 2 or 3 hours at a time. And I've also noticed with other strings, the strings can get dull really quickly. These ones don't. These ones are fantastic in my opinion. And I really, really would recommend these. So next up is Carl.
Hey everybody, so my name's Carl Wockner and I'm going to weigh in with 3 options for ideas, for gift ideas for live loopers, whether you're one or you know one. Now the low budget first option for me, this is coming in around the $30 to $40 range depending on where you are in the world, but it's actually it's actually my product. So this is available on TrueFire, which is a global lesson-based platform. So it is my live looping course, and that is, it's called Artistic Looping for Guitarists. Now, this is amazing for beginners, intermediate level, even has some cool little tricks and tips for the more experienced live loopers, but basically it's a 49-part course that I go through a lot of things, challenges, bits and pieces, and it would really benefit anybody in the looping realm. So jump on that, the link will be in the description down here, and that's something I highly recommend if you've got a lower budget.
Now we move into the middle budget section, and what has Dave got for us?
For a mid-budget gift, I came up with 2 things, and they both revolve around the same idea, which is inspiration. So the first one is go and book your loop artist, your friend, lover, partner, lodger, whoever they are in your life, go and book them a session with a musician they are inspired by. This is easier than you think. A lot of times if you reach out to someone and say, hey, what are the chances of setting up, I want to do just a one-on-one Zoom session or something like that to connect with you. Are you open to that? You'll be surprised how many times the answer is yes, and you actually get to work with and have a recording of that session that you can go back to and learn from. The second thing I had was guitar pedals. There's so many amazing guitar pedals. I have a slightly different take on this if you're buying something as a gift, and it's purely from inspiration. Go and buy the one that's shiny and has a great blue color without necessarily having to know what it does. Sure, if there's something that you specifically want for part of your setup, then obviously get that and gift that. It's a great idea. But why not experiment with a new sound, a new idea, something that you end up playing with and experimenting with and losing a whole lot of hours to the enjoyment factor of something that you might not normally get or purchase. Highly recommend it.
Nice, I like that. Inspiration, that's a good one. Now my one is a little bit different because we're looking at loop pedals. And this is reaching out to the people who aren't a loop artist or a budding loop artist. You're the person buying the gift. What I'd like you to do is go to your friend who's the loop artist and say, hey, what's the name of your pedal? First of all, they might be a little bit shocked, but the fact is that you want to actually find out because there could be an upgradable version. Let's say they're using the Boss RC30, they've been using the same loop pedal for years. There's actually a newer version, which is the RC500, but this retails around about £250. Let's say they're running this pedal, which is the Boss RC3. It's been around for a little while now, and now there's a heavy upgrade, which is the Boss RC5. This comes in around about £150 to £160, and the upgrades on this thing are huge. Alternatively, you could get them this. This is the Donner Circle Looper. This comes in around about £70, and it's actually got some heavy upgrades from the Boss RC3 as well. If they open their presents on Christmas morning and find that you've actually upgraded their looper, well, you might not see them for the rest of the holiday, which could be a disadvantage, or maybe an advantage. But seriously, the great thing with all these new loopers is they have so many more new features, much better audio quality, and more expansion. Now, I wonder what Carl's thinking for his mid-range.
Okay, number two, middle budget. Now this is going to range from around about the $70 mark through to $150, depending on what it is. And that is a pedal. But there's two pedals that I'm going to recommend. One of them is some kind of an octave pedal. Now I use the OC3. The Boss have an OC5 out, which is fantastic, and SY1. There's various different versions of octave pedals. This is the one I currently use and recommend, or the OC5. This comes in US dollars around about the $130 mark. A fantastic addition to anybody's live looping rig if they don't already have one. It basically enables you, if you've got a guitar, to be able to play like a bass line, which is super handy if you're live looping. The second pedal, now this is a little cheaper than the octave pedal, and that is the Spark Mini Boost. And all it is a clean volume boost. Comes in around about the $60 to $70. I'd highly recommend anybody have a clean boost available on their pedal board. It's super handy when you're adjusting volumes, or even if you're not playing with the loop, you can just bump the volume up or down, whether you're a keys player or a guitarist. So that's kind of an intermediate option for you to check out. So that's my second one. It's an addition to their pedal board, an extra pedal.
Now we move on to the high budget. So if you've got a lot of cash to spend on your friend, or maybe you're spending it on yourself, maybe it's time for a huge upgrade, or you're upping your game in looping, let's have a look at what you can buy. David.
If you're looking to spend a bit more as a gift or for yourself, then I highly recommend the Zoom H4n Pro. This has been such a blessing in my life, and what it is, it's an audio recorder. It has two condenser microphones, so you can record a beautiful acoustic sound, vocals, guitar, and this functions as an audio interface as well. So if you don't currently have a way to get audio into your laptop, into your computer for streaming, for recording, editing, you can both record and use this as an audio interface to capture a really nice sound from your shows, home recordings, to share what you do with others. You can plug this in from the desk at your show from a master output, and you'll get to listen back and gain really, really good insight onto actually how your show sounded and how it came across when you're not playing. You can listen back to it afterwards. So that is my number one recommendation in this category. On that note, it's probably time for me to go and relearn Mariah Carey again. It's about that time. Merry Christmas, everybody, and happy looping.
So if I put that in there, and I route track 6 over to there. Oh, sorry, just figuring something out. Thanks, David. Yes, this is the new RC600, and of course, if you buy that for your friend, your husband, your wife, your spouse, whatever, they're going to be very, very happy with you. But my high-end one actually isn't that, and I'm going to show you this. With a lot of new pedals now, MIDI expansion is the new thing, and in my humble opinion, there is no better MIDI controller than the Morningstar. Now this is the Morningstar MC8, where you've got 8 buttons, but the MC3 starts around about £180. This one will set you back around about £280 to £300, depending on where you buy it from. Obviously buy it from Morningstar Direct, it's around about £309, and it's an absolute powerhouse. If you put this with my recommendation, which is the RC5, then you've got 9 buttons to control, but you haven't got 9 buttons, you've got way more than that, because these do individual things. In fact, you press one button, you can tell it do 16 commands on one button. Now, why would you get this? It's just pure expansion. And also, it's got multiple ins and multiple outs. So if you plug in things like a expression pedal, or if you plug in things like another pedal to give you even more buttons, you can do that. And this is completely programmable. Now, I use this with the Headrush Looper board. I also use it with the RC5. The RC5 only has one button, and you can get Boss's expansion pedal for it, but the MIDI capability is off the chart. Being able to control multiple things like the rhythm start stop, just simple things like going up and down a menu just using these two, it's just so much nicer on stage. And believe me, if you're not into looping and your loop artist friend has a loop pedal that takes MIDI, again, a little bit of investigative work there, they are gonna love this pedal. Now let's see what Carl's got in the high range in Santa's bag of goodies.
All right, coming in hot at number 3. Now this is a pedal case. If your person that you know that is a live looper doesn't have an amazing pedal case, you would be an absolute saint to get them a Pelican case. Now this is what a Pelican case is. This isn't my actual looping Pelican case. This is just one I had next to me right now. This is slightly smaller, but they come in all different shapes and sizes. They are a plastic mold, super strong, super sturdy, waterproof case that encases all of your pedals in your entire live looping rig. The cool thing about Pelican cases is there's light ones and there's heavy ones, and they all have various sizes and shapes and colors and that sort of thing. So essentially what you would need to do is an extra step, measure the dimensions of the pedals that they have, the pedal board rig, whether it's set on the floor, sneak into their studio or something and measure how big it is, and just get a case that's slightly larger than that. They are amazing. Most of them come with a 10-year warranty or even a lifetime warranty. They're incredible. I fly with them all the time and I wouldn't trust it in anything else. So there you have it. That's my 3. Good luck with your holiday shopping. And man, I hope somebody listens to me and my my gift ideas. Fingers crossed. All right, I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great one. See ya.
So that is our Christmas list, but before you go, I did say to you, I've got something completely for free for you. If you're a budding loop artist and you want to get into looping, I actually have a downloadable PDF that's completely free. This PDF is just a concise, small PDF with my pro tips on how to get into looping. All you need to do is go to johnpaulmusic.co.uk, scroll all the way to the bottom, and then grab the PDF by putting in your email address. Now this is just a selection that the 3 of us have come up with. I hope it's useful for you. I'm going to put links to all the products we've discussed today in the description box below, and all remains is to say Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh.